Hello and welcome to GeekatPlay Studio Tutorials. In this tutorial, we start working on a terrain for our project, and we'll begin by creating a fractal or procedural terrain. So let's reposition. Okay, as well, I'm just going to stretch it. Just make it about square and a little bit larger stuff. Okay. So next we'll right click and we'll go to Edit Object. Right here we have our terrain editor. Open with our terrain preview. Couple things, let's go ahead and first we'll uncheck the smooth edges so we have it kind of open terrain. Okay, next, many times we can create from the scratch, but what's happening with terrain if you preview, let me disable a little bit our cameras. So many times shape of terrains, we already have a very nice collection of come with view that we can reuse it for shapes. So let's just double click on our function, which is open the preset that come with view, and you can see right here we already have a lot of almost any type of the shape we want to use it. For this, I want to using a mood preset. So let's click OK. You can see it's applied right to our terrain, but this is not necessarily what I wanted. I want to have it like maybe open more type of round like a puddles. So let's rework, and to do this we actually need to go inside the function and modify it. So let's click and select edit function. What's happening when we look on this function, it's in many cases first it's maybe look a little bit scared, a lot of options, a lot of things to modify here, and it is a little bit complex function, but again it's not things kind of to be scared. So I'll just minimize right here so we can make any changes and kind of preview what's going on. So let's look on this function. First, what do you notice? We have these kind of fractals, and each of them will represent the size of the craters it's kind of creating. So if we're going in first, and for example we modified settings, even just increase or decrease scales, you can see how it's affecting our terrain as well. Okay, so with this I can preset specific size for my craters, be sure they kind of applied properly in a way I want it. So let's send this way. Next we can notice from ours we have a filter, and this filter would create this edge kind of. So let's open and edit. So if I go ahead and create just point right here in the middle, you can see right here we just create another ring going around. So in this case what I want to do, if I want to create kind of multiple rings, okay, I can create, and right here I start creating all these rings kind of going from my central things, central kind of crater. Okay, and again right here we can make it a little bit deeper our crater. And as example, I want maybe to do this way so we have it kind of interesting way look on those craters. Okay, we also can a little bit smooth them out so they don't look too sharp. Okay, let's click OK. Again, we are just modifying from what already was done, but it's help us so we don't need to recreate all this complex type. So let's look right here. We have our blender which blend by multiplications from our main craters, and we have a small kind of like noise, fractal noise applied to this one. So let me bring a little bit up. Again, right here we can modify effectos, and you can see we start affecting the shape and add all this rigidness. In one case, if we can go inside the blender and just put it everything to our large size of the craters, we kind of smooth them out again. But in this case, I want even make smaller, larger features. Okay, we'll go inside the blender and kind of blend them together so it's look a little bit more natural. Okay, of course we can go inside the filter at this point and just make the effect a little bit stronger or less stronger actually. Okay, maybe this edge a little bit need to be higher. So let's go right here. Slightly increasing. Okay, same way we can go ahead. This will be those small craters that we have it. And same effect we can achieve. We can increase slightly scale on them. So we have a little bit bigger size of those craters. Let's go inside the filter. And same way, you remember we have this kind of preset. So we can make these craters a little bit deeper right in the middle. Okay, sometimes I like to disable running so it will make easier to grab our points. Okay, let's make, and you notice right here, this is end, it will be middle. So, and I'm kind of trying to shape, and again, we can create multiple rings to this. Okay, let's change again to round effect, a little bit smoother in this case. Okay, next we also have some smaller kind of noise, and you can notice right here we have the filter, we have a blender, and it's kind of the blend and they're combining and they're going to global blender with the effect that we have the variable rocks right here, fractals. So for this one, actually I want to change to the terrain fractal, and this is what define overall shape. Okay, and let's change, let's put it 5, so we make it a little bit kind of adjusting, and same ways I want to take gain and roughness way down. So we'll have it kind of almost flatter look, but at the same time we can increase effect. So right here we can preview. Okay, and we have it, our terrain as kind of nice looking in this case, as normal terrain, and we have these rings. Probably want to rework a little bit more on the rings to make them kind of more natural. But again, if we're going to look for the sci-fi terrain, we want actually to make them less usual. But what I want to do, I want to make them as paddles. So we probably want a little bit rework on that one. So let me, okay. Right here, just readjust slightly, or not slightly, our preset for our terrain. So we have a higher contrast, deeper for those paddles. Okay. Because we need to have some kind of depth right here in the edge. And you know, I maybe don't like this second ring. So let's click OK right here. We'll go to the filter that modify it and I create this second kind of ring. So I'm just bringing them down. Okay. Yeah, it's look much cleaner this way. Again, this is maybe a little bit too high. So let's take this one, bring it a little bit down. Okay, we still have a kind of interesting effect from these rings going on the side. The smaller ring, maybe same way. So I'm going to this filter that we modified and just bring slightly down. So you can see we created from other terrain that we create was before as default. Right here, we created quite a bit interesting shape already with a more natural look on our terrain. Okay. So I think this is look okay. And again, we can go and maybe if you wanted, you can readjust a little bit more different type of the for which one you want it more higher on some craters or lower, higher, whatever values you want applied. Okay, let me check these ones as well. Just slightly bring them a little bit more down. See, but again, sometimes need to watch for the depth. Okay, when we're done, let's click OK. And here is our terrain that we modified. It does based on the one which have the moon, but of course with customizations. It's look slightly different, but again, we save a lot of time, but reusing the function already developed, but at the same time, we created our own unique type of terrain. So let's click OK for this. And again, if you like this terrain, you can go ahead inside terrain editor, and you can just save your terrain, or same time you can let's go to edit function. You can go and save as a version for your function right here. So it's kind of nice this way, but currently I don't want to save it, so I will just use what we have. Okay, let's next readjust, reposition our terrain height. We'll take our camera, and in many cases with camera we want to find a good point view so we can see our terrain kind of nicer. So we'll already work with this. Okay, maybe even decrease slightly right this edge so we can see better inside, or reposition terrain. Okay, let's preview. Okay, and you can see we have quite a bit interesting terrain with the flat craters. We do not have kind of on a background, and we'll see because with the I want to create very thick atmospheres, maybe want to add something or maybe not. We'll see what's happening when we start adding, but right now this is nice beginning for our next step. Okay, thank you for watching this tutorial from GeekatPlay Studio, and please check other tutorials from this series when we're creating the glowing paddle project.